And then what window notifications? I had my headphones on so I couldn't tell what it was. You're right, Falco. Hold on. Guarantee you whatever window notification I got was not important. It's so loud. I'm not saying anything important or anything. Should be better. Good morning to all of you. What is likely the first and only time I've ever done a 5 o'clock episode of the Popcast. Good night. Good night doesn't play in Low Ink anymore. Pretty sure we banned those guys a year ago. Title says April 23rd. Is that not correct? Did I misspell April? No. Today is the 14th, yes. But this is the 23rd year of... Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I started, last year I started, describing the episodes, the Low Inks, because I do a preview for Low Ink and a recap for Low Ink to help decide, like, oh, this isn't the April of this year, it's the April of last. So that's, so if you want to look at the Low Ink preview of April 22, it'd be the year last time. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense to do a preview with like April 14th and then a recap April 17th or something like that. It'd be too confusing. So yeah, that's just the year. Y'all have me thinking, like, did I misspell April? There's no red squiggly line. It says I misspelled Popcast. Yeah, but if I typed out April 2023, you guys wouldn't talk about it. Now I got you guys having a conversation about the podcast or whatever. You fell for it. Hold on. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify, whether you're trying not to spoil Tears of the Kingdom to those of us that are trying to remain in the dark, wondering if K-Bot is ever going to unfreeze himself, asking when Nightmare is going to be playing their set after you just 4-0'd them in front of about 600 people. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. Full disclosure, before we go any further, I did not sleep that well last night. And decided that when I got home from work today that I would take a nap and set my alarm for 4 o'clock. And woke up in a panic at 4 o'clock. And I'm a little, like taking a nap is like the worst thing you can ever do. Because I feel like whenever I wake up from a nap, I feel like I'm in another dimension for at least the next couple of hours. So I'm a little out of it. Right now, and luckily I wrote all of this beforehand. It's just a matter of, can I actually read my own handwriting for the next hour? Well, we can get through this one. For those of you going to Low Tide City, registration is still open. I believe you got to pay the $10 late fee now, but that's the price you have to pay for being so wishy-washy. Something I just kind of crossed my mind. I went to go get this. I still have a bunch of these stickers that JPEG made that were handed out at Riptide. The I'm banned from Low Ink and all I got was this sticker. I don't think JPEG is going to be at Low Tide, or it hasn't been confirmed if he's going to be there or not. So, and I still have a ton of these left over. I don't have any certificates, but if you're going to Low Tide City and you've won Low Ink or you've been banned, you can't just ban yourself. If you've been officially banned from Low Ink, I'll give you one of these stickers we could take a picture or something like that. So this is what's on the line this weekend. If somebody wins Low Ink this weekend and then they go to Low Tide City, you can get yourself a I got banned from Low Ink sticker. Because I didn't realize how many I had, but I looked into my bag from Riptide. I got a ton of those stickers left over, so we'll disperse those at Low Tide City. This is the last Low Ink before Low Tide City. That's it's really creeping up. It's exciting stuff. Really looking forward to that. The Ink TV happened yesterday. The first wave of week 1 matches took place on yesterday. The second set of the second wave of week 1 matches is tonight. Alliance Rogue taking on Penguin, and Crush Soda taking on Zero Devs. I'll be commentating one of those sets tonight. So this is a bit of using this as my wake up. So we'll get through on that. I don't really have much to say about yesterday's sets. They were pretty straightforward. Nightmare curb stomp or Jackpot curb stomped Nightmare. Just get the sense that as good as Nightmare's been and as great of a run that they had in the qualifiers, this is the you kind of get the sense that they're the freshman that's in the house now, and they're just going to spend this league getting hazed by all the seniors. But we'll see how that goes. A lot of the issues I thought you saw on stream were just production stuff, like on Ink TV's side of things. They'll hopefully be fixed by tonight. But yeah, it was a little weird at points, but I think that was just Ink TV doing a lot of new things and figuring out, okay, here's the adjustments that need to be made going forward. So hopefully all that gets resolved. But man, a lot of people were watching those sets yesterday. On a Thursday night set was getting more views than 20XX on Sunday. That's whoa. Turns out a Ink TV thing's gonna be pretty good. If you're looking to play in Low Ink, registration is still open for the next 3-ish hours. If you're watching this live on Twitch, if you're watching the VOD on this on YouTube, I hope you've already signed up for Low Ink, or you're probably banned from it. Either way, I don't really care at this point. We got enough teams signed up for this tournament. It's not going to be the biggest Low Ink of all time, but it's enough Low Inks. It's a big enough Low Ink to be a thing. So there you go. A couple of years ago, if you told me 150 teams in Low Ink, I'd be like, "There's no way we could do that." And now it's just like, well, it's just another day of Low Ink. Today we're going to be previewing Low Ink, the April 23 edition of Low Ink. That is the year 23, not the day 23. April apostrophe 23, if that helps out. Clarify some things for you guys. I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 teams, including the number 1 team who I think is the most likely to win this tournament. And it's going to be talking about 15 other teams that I'm just going to be having my eye on this weekend. See if we can get through all of that. All of that and more. But first, the text is now wrong because you get the send out badge. Low quality collector edition stickers. I guess that's fair. Also, but the whoever started this rumor that coaches get send out badges if the team you coach wins Low Ink, that is not true. You have to physically win it. You have to be a part of the team that wins it to get one of those things. You can't just coaching a team is great, but you got to actually be on the field of battle to get away with that thing. One of my favorite things to do for Low Ink is something that a TO should never do when it comes to running your tournament. Look at Twitter. I honestly love when Saturday is done, when the Swiss stage is done, just going on Twitter, searching the phrase low ink, and seeing the mountain of tweets of people tweeting out their drip picks with their teams. Hey, we're excited. We didn't make Sunday, but we're so excited with our progress. We had so much fun. I just go through it and I just like every single one of them because I want to support you guys being excited, playing in low ink, and spreading the good low ink word to all the low inkers across the world. And also every now and then you get a tweet that's like somebody at their office being like, how am I supposed to print this thing when I got low ink in my printer? I got this report due. It's like, it's like, it sucks to suck, bro. It's a Saturday. Why do you got to tweet about your printer ink? So I'm looking through Twitter last Saturday during low ink. I'm seeing multiple people, not just one. I'm not singling out one person in particular. There's multiple people having this conversation about the low ink skill cap. And the thesis of the conversation was that the low ink skill cap is too damn high. Really? It is? That's a topic people are talking about it at all? Okay, interesting. Now, I was seeing a lot of different opinions on it. I was seeing people agreeing, yeah, the low ink skill cap is way too high. And I saw a bunch of people chime in being like, what are you talking about? This low ink skill cap is perfect. And some people were like, it's too low. It should be higher. So where the low ink skill cap should be is totally subjective based off of whoever. Did I not just say multiple people said that instead of just saying what one individual person said that? Come on, keep up with us, guys. But a lot of different people have opinions of where the low ink skill cap should be, and so be it. But you got to understand where all these different people are coming from here. You have people that never qualify for Sunday, or this barely ever qualify for Sunday, that have opinions on it. You got people that make nothing but alpha bracket that have their set opinions on things. You got players that have been banned from low ink for a while now that played in a completely different era of low ink than what the current players do today, that have thoughts on where the low ink skill cap should be. So like everybody's coming at it from a different perspective and looking at this line in the sand of Div 5 and see it all a little bit differently. And that's fine. It's an opinionated thing. There's no like actual fact. There's no 10 commandment that says thou shall not be above Div 5 and play in low ink. It's just a total arbitrary number that has a little bit of scientific thinking going into it. But it's allowed to be debated amongst the masses. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that my opinion is more important than anybody else's opinion on this matter. Yes, I have been paying attention to low ink back when I was playing it in 2019, all the way up to this point to where I'm commentating every grand finals. I'm the head TO for it. I obviously have a much more deeper connection to low ink than any of you idiots in chat. But I'm not sitting here saying that makes my opinion more important than anybody else's. I'm not saying that at all, because it's fair to say that my opinion isn't more important. I will say, however, it does make my opinion a little bit more fleshed out than what you can put in a tweet or a series of tweets. And obviously I have a little bit of a platform where I can go a little bit deeper dive into why I think the low ink skill cap is perfect. And that is the thesis of this conversation. The low ink skill cap is perfect. But what makes it so perfect? Let's start with the most annoying thing right off the bat. And if you've listened to any episode of the Popcast, which I know you have, you know my thoughts on taking a Ludi div and using it as a bar meter to describe the rankings of every single team that plays in this community. How you can take the seeding of one tournament and say, is that a ranking system? Is this a ranking system? So let's just do this one more time. And this is going to sound like a broken record for a lot of you regular idiots in chats, but if you're a first timer, it never hurts to you to hear the good word, the gospel of Pop Gun. Looty Divs are a snapshot of where teams that signed up for Looty only are on December the 3rd, 2022. That's it. It's not a ranking system for the entire community. It's not it's not a thing that you can use to find scrim div levels 4 months later. It's just ranking. It's just seeding for a tournament. That's all it is. That's all Looty Divs are. And take it from me, because I've been a part of the Looty Seeding Council for the past 3 seasons now. It's just seeding for a tournament. Now, I said the date, December the 3rd, 2022. That is important, because when Looty Divs come out, they are a snapshot of the teams that sign up for that tournament only just for that day. And that's it. Whatever happens on December the 4th, going in every day forward from that, does not go back and change anything that came out on December the 3rd. So if you said something like, oh, I'm now this div estimate of this, or wow, that team is div, why are the silly kitties div 4? That's because on December the 3rd, 2022, that's the div that they got. Just the seeding for that tournament only. I did the math, and I did this yesterday, so it just had to add one number to it today. Looty Divs are now, as of April the 14th, 2023, 131 days old. If you were to look at 20XX, the fourth 20XX, that would be a much better indicator today of where you are compared to other teams than Looty Divs. They're both seedings for the same tournament, but 20XX is more recent. Why don't we say at here scrim, teams seeded in 20XX between the range of 30 to 45? Why don't we do that? That would be more accurate than saying at here scrim div 4, because what the hell is div 4 anymore? It makes absolutely no sense. But Pop Gun, as I know you guys are about to say, isn't the skill cap for low ink at div 5? How can you say that the Looty Divs are just seeding for a tournament if you're going to use it as a skill cap for your tournament? Great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, one of the rules in our tournament that determines if you're eligible for low ink or not does have to do with Looty Divs. And yes, we do look at what Looty Div you did get on December the 3rd, 2022, as far as your eligibility is concerned. It's not the only thing we looked at, mind you, but it is one of the deciding factors. As I've said before, if you're going to have a tournament that is skill capped, you need to have a line in the sand somewhere. Now, if you've been paying attention to low ink for as long as I've been a part of it, you know there are some div 4 teams and players that are still eligible for low ink. And you guys know there are tons of div 5, 6, 7, and 8 teams/players that are banned from low ink. The line in the sand is there because you need a rule clearly stated of where the line is. But we, the TOs, reserve the right to allow teams above and below that line to be transitioned as how we see fit, instead of just looking at the sheet that came out on December the 3rd, 2022, and use that as justification for seeding of our tournament for the next year, because that's how long it usually takes for the next Looty season to come out. So how do you do that? How do you determine who is and isn't eligible for your tournament if you can't just use Looty seeding as your complete and ultimate decision on who is and isn't eligible to play? Well, you have to do the one thing that is an opinion, because Ludi seeds are opinions. The one thing that is fact in this community, and it'll always be fact, it's not your plus server voting percentage. It's not what your friends think your div estimate should be in a Twitter poll. No, it's tournament results. The Low Ink staff, the lovely and talented staff that we have, looks at the tournament results of every single player that signs up for this tournament and decides based off of that if you would fall under what we consider to be our looting skill cap or not. Is it easy? No. Does it take a lot of time to do that? Yes. Last month we had to verify over 1,000 players. It takes some time. Do we get it right every single time? Hell no. Absolutely not. There are players that we ban that I feel really confident in every player that we ban, but there's probably some players we ban where it's like, nope, we probably should have let them in. There's some players we let in, they're like, oh crap, we should have banned that player. There are a little bit of screw ups here and there, but I'd say about 99% of the things that we do, which with 1,000 players, 99% is a lot of players that you miss. I feel like Low Ink staff gets the job done across the board. But yet again, you can't use Ludi divs as an argument to say that the Low Ink skill cap should be higher or lower. Because if you were going to say, let's just pretend that you didn't pay attention to anything I just said, which for the vast majority of you idiots in chat is the exact case. So let's start fresh here. Let's pretend that Ludi divs do actually matter. And they still hold value even though they're 131 days old as of today. If you were to lower the Low Ink skill cap from Div 5 down to Div 6, let's take a look at what the past couple of Low Inks would look like. The December Low Ink all the way up to to the end of the March Low Ink from last month, because those are the 4 Low Inks that happened during the most recent Ludi seeds being given out. How would those tournaments change? To be fair, the December tournament would change a lot. Crescent Knight won, Myopsidus finished in second, and Sanguine Seas finished in third. By the way, all 3 of those teams have been banned from Low Ink since then, even though only Crescent Knight's the only team to win out of that group. But all 3 of those teams I mentioned that finished in the top 3 in December, they're Div 5. They would not have been allowed to play in that Low Ink. Now, that was the first Low Ink after Ludi seeds had just come out, which is the time when the Ludi divs are the most freshest, the most ripe. So that makes sense that your tournament immediately after Ludi divs come out are loaded with Div 5 teams making the podium. But yeah, that tournament would change. Who would win that one? Maybe June, a team that finished in that one beta bracket that curb stomped Banana Basics. Sorry guys, I like the Banana Basics to bring that one back up. But June won beta bracket that month as a Div 6 team. So they probably, I would assume, would curb stomp that. But yeah, the December tournament would look pretty different. What about the January tournament, though? Who won the January tournament? I bet the most of you already forgot, because I kind of did, because their name doesn't really do anything good for them. The team that won in January, to be determined, TBD. Do you guys know that TBD does not have a Ludi div? So even if it was a Div 6 and below tournament in January, TBD would still be 100% eligible for it. Those players don't play in Ludi, so that team didn't play in Ludi. They would have been eligible for the January Low Ink. So they would have curb stomped that tournament. January would not have looked any different. What about February? Remember the team that won in February? The Democratic Republic of whoever, whatever. Those guys were not in Ludi. They didn't play in Ludi. They would have been eligible in a tournament no matter what your skill cap Ludi would have been like. Oh, and if you were to say, but Pop Gun, the players for the Democratic Republic were actually pretty good, and some of them did have some tournament resume going into that one, you're right. And maybe, just maybe, in a Div 6 tournament, we would have looked at their resume and said, no, you guys would have been too good, and we would have banned them out. Which would have left the Prowlers, a team that had next to zero tournament resume on their resume at all. They would have won that tournament as well. They finished in second place anyways, but if you lower it from Div 5 to Div 6, the Prowlers, they don't just win that tournament, they could win it blindfolded. That's how uncompetitive that would have been. But, here's where you guys win. You're right, March. The Splat-A-Lot imbeciles, now known as Velocity. They're Div 5. They would not have been allowed to play in the March low ink if the skill cap had been lowered, and they would have never gotten the opportunity to win. So the March tournament would have looked a lot different. And by a lot different, I mean Secret Elixir, which also didn't play in Ludi, would have just completely curb stomped that tournament as well, because they did beat everybody on their way to getting to the grand finals, and the only team that beat them was the Div 5 Splat-A-Lot imbeciles. Do you guys see the point I'm getting at right here? If we lowered the skill cap from Div 5 to Div 6, the only thing that would change is not who finishes at on the final podium at the end of the tournament, but how competitive, how insanely uncompetitive the entire tournament would be, because a lot of those teams I just mentioned would have been eligible for low ink anyways. It would be Rising Matrix all over again. Month after month after month of a team you've never heard of coming out of nowhere and just putting whatever opponent they're playing in grand finals into a headlock and just giving them a noogie for 3 straight games or 4 straight games before just riding off into the night with their low ink band send out badge. Nothing would have changed. Oh. The only change would come, though, is how competitive those tournaments would be. Remember 2 months ago when at the beginning of Alpha Bracket, round 1 of Alpha Bracket, all 8 matches that were played were going into a game 3 with the set tied 1-1 apiece. It was so insanely competitive that it was after 2 games of the entirety of round 1, you had no idea who's going to win that tournament because all 16 teams were deadlocked, tied with each other. That is what the current skill cap for low ink is providing. An extremely competitive tournament. December was the normal double M alpha bracket because we had less than 128 teams sign up. That went to a game 5 in the first bracket reset before Crescent Knight ultimately won. The January tournament went to a game 7 out of a best of 7. The February tournament went to a game 7 out of a best of 7. The November tournament, before Ludi Divs came out, went to a game 7 out of a best of 7. You got so many of those matches in single M alpha bracket that go to a game 5, especially on stream in the semifinal rounds. The tournament in Alpha Bracket has never been this competitive across the board. It's so competitive that when the imbeciles beat the Secret Elixir team 4-1, it's so bizarre that Secret Elixir wasn't able to at least take 2 games off of them, considering how good everybody else had been in Alpha Bracket since November. The tournament has never been this competitive before, and if you lowered the skill cap, all the other teams that could be competitive with each other are gone, but you still got a lot of teams that are still going to be eligible. They're still just going to absolutely curb stomp this tournament. Plus, in theory, if the skill cap was lowered from Div 5 to Div 6, In theory, that means there's only 48 teams that would be eligible to play in low ink that are not eligible to play in the other low-level tournament. And this is where I'm genuinely curious, because I didn't see anybody from Little Squid League tweet out or respond to the conversation that was going on last month. But if you're Little Squid League and you're looking at this conversation of everyone saying the low ink skill cap should be lowered a couple of divs, don't you just stand up, raise your hand, and say, hello? That's what we are. That's what we exist. Little Squid League is a tournament for all of those players that are saying the low ink skill cap is too high. We got a tournament for you. It already exists. It's going to be celebrating its 30th edition next month in Little Squid League. It is a fantastic tournament. It's getting 100+ teams signing up for it consistently, and it's something where the teams that win it, they aren't coming in and they're curb stomping low ink. They're not. And I'm going to be highlighting all of the low ink champions, Little Squid League champions, as it pertains to low ink the next month, because a lot of them are playing in this tournament right here, and they're probably going to make Gamma or Delta. That's exactly where they need to be. The skill cap seems to be working in line with each other. And that's the next point that I want to get to right here. The balance of the community is really right between the three major tournaments that have some sort of skill cap, starting with Little Squid League, Low Ink, and SAC. There's a nice natural progression between all three of them. And if you change the skill cap of one tournament, you're basically going to the other two and saying, hey, you guys need to change yours as well. Get in line with what we think the community should be like, because this is what a few people on Twitter are saying. If you were to take the alpha/beta bracket teams that consistently make that in low ink, and you were to kick them out and say, you guys are perma-banned forever, you guys got to go up and play in SAC. Then low ink becomes way too close to Little Squid League, to where you're going to see a team eventually win Little Squid League and low ink in the same exact month, which should never, ever be happening. If you were to go to SAC and say, instead of saying if you're in +2 you're banned, you're in +3 now that you're banned. So anybody in the plus server is now banned. All of a sudden, you are now discouraging all of your players that are trying to grind up to get into +3 from doing that, because they know if they get voted in, they're going to be banned from SAC, which is kind of a good thing. Why would you guys want to be in the plus servers? Have you actually paid attention to anything plus server related ever? But there's a natural progression between those three things. But yeah, come on, guys. Man, it'd be really great if there was a tournament that was Div 7 or below. Have I got news for you? Are you guys the kind of people that you're in the shower and you're like, man, I really wish my body wash could also be shampoo and could also be toothpaste? That product already exists. You could get that right now. It's called Little Squid League body wash, shampoo, toothpaste thing. It's an actual thing, guys. And the fact that we're talking about it like it didn't actually exist, it was just so hilarious to me. Oh. With all of this, though, here's the most frustrating part about this entire conversation. This is what's getting lost in all of this. The point of low ink and Little Squid League and SAC, at its core, the mission statement of those three tournaments is not to determine who can win these tournaments every single month. That's not the point. Yes, you guys are signed up with low ink with the intentions of eventually winning the tournament, but that's not the damn point of why the tournament exists. We're not trying to create participation trophies so that all you guys can feel good about yourselves and you can win a tournament that every single month, and then it gets watered down. Hey, we created this tournament for teams that are too good for, not good enough to make alpha bracket, but they're not also good enough to where they can win more than 2 games in beta bracket. And so we created a tournament just for you guys, and now you win. That's the true grandma got ran over by a reindeer cup. Congratulations. You got another watered down trophy because we set so many different tournaments and so many different skill caps to where everybody finds a way that they can win something. No, the point of Low Inc, the reason why we get 200 teams that sign up for it, even though we know only one of them is actually going to win it, is because you guys get to grow through Low Inc. How many times do I sit here and talk about all of the countless teams that start off going 0-6 that get destroyed in Delta and Gamma and have to grind their way up through beta bracket, and then they're finally at the pedestal to where they can say that they won the tournament? How many times do we talk about that? That's the point of Low Inc. And some of you in chat are watching this, you will never win Low Inc. That doesn't mean you're never going to be banned from it. Think about it like this. Today you're going to see Crush Soda play Zero Deaths. Crush Soda is made up of Wave and Thunder. Believe it or not, those 2 players played in Low Inc. They never won it, but they played in Low Inc. It seems so weird to think that players at the very top, and I'm not sitting here by any stretch of the imagination saying that they got to the top because of Low Inc. No, I think Thunder only played in like 1 Low Inc., maybe 2 before they ultimately got banned. But do you think they care? You think they're sitting here saying, man, we're considered some of the best players on the planet right now? Isabel, yes, Isabel's another great example. Isabel actually won Low Inc. though, so that's not fair. But you think they're just sitting there saying, man, we're some of the best players on the planet right now, but we never won Low Inc. That's not the point. The point is you guys get to find scrim partners. You get to play in a tournament where you know you're not going to get absolutely destroyed by a team. Well, a lot of you are still going to get absolutely destroyed because, newsflash, even low level is still really good at the video game. But you're going to get to find more people around your skill level. You're going to get to grow. You get to see your progress month for month. You get to be surrounded by a community of people that are in the same boat as you. Then you get to like share stories. You get to bond with each other. The low level community, for the longest time, felt like its own thing, like its own section of competitive Splatoon, and there was no connection between low level and the rest of the community. I feel like that's gotten a lot better, but that's the reason why you guys are playing in this. I guarantee you, if you guys grew up in an era of Low Inc. or an era of competitive Splatoon that my team did, you would not still be playing the game anymore. Because my era of low-level tournaments was BNS. And BNS was an open invite tournament. And you would just get destroyed until you got to round 6, where you found that one team that you could at least tie 2-2 with. Yes, you had to play play all 4 sets in BNS. That was kind of weird. But you guys get a Low Inc. You get a little Squid League. You get an SAC. That allows you guys to stick around in the scene, to grow a little bit more. That's the point of these tournaments. We're not trying to hand out participation trophies to everybody because you guys because you guys won it. You got to earn it. And a lot of you are going to get banned from Low Inc. before you actually win it, and that's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So yes, that's my opinion on the Low Inc. skill cap and why I think it's absolutely perfect where it is right now and why it should not change at all. And by the way, if the next Ludi season were to come out in the middle of the summer and let's say all the alpha bracket teams got put down in Div 6 because that was just their turn to be put into Div 6, then we're going to lower the skill cap to Div 6. That doesn't mean we're going to kick a bunch of teams out. We're just going to look at where our traditional teams finish and be like, oh yeah, that's where the skill cap is. We don't need to make drastic changes off of other things. The same coin, if nobody from Div 1 through 3 last season signs up, and then all of a sudden you got Velocity as a Div X team, are we just going to go down and say, oh, well, the Div 5 cap is here? No, we're going to make adjustments. We're going to look at what the scene actually is and make adjustments based off of that. We're never going to do this massive purge from Low Inc. We've done that before, but how we do it right now, slowly kicking out teams as we see fit. If we need to kick out 10 teams this month, so be it. If we need to kick out 0, so be it. The Loink staff is doing a fantastic job of making sure the skill cap is where it needs to be, and that's been it's been carrying us up to this point in Loink. It's why it's one of the greatest tournaments in the community. Does that mean your opinion is invalid, though? No. If you have an opinion on the Loink skill cap, you're more than happy to have that. But if your tournament idea of what the skill cap should be for Loink is based on 131-day-old seeding for Ludi, then have fun talking in circles on Twitter. The rest of us are going to keep things the same. I'm awake now. That lasted way longer than I thought it was going to. Speaking of teams grinding and growing, let's not take any breaks. Let's go right into this. Because I need to move on and do other things. I actually got to do work for Loink. So I talked about how I got 15 teams that I'm keeping my eye on. Not my top 10 teams, but there's 15 teams in particular that I want to watch and see what they do this upcoming tournament this weekend. To be fair, I wrote down all of the teams that you're going to be listening to before I took my nap today. So if any of these teams have dropped since then, and or disbanded or whatever, then so be it. Feel free to point it out in chat, including my top 10. But we're just going to go down with what I wrote down, with what pre-nap Pop Gun wrote down here. That dude was pretty smart. First off, let's talk about Wave Break. Wave Break is a team that won Little Squid League, I want to say 3 Little Squid Leagues ago. They played in Delta Bracket 2 months ago, decently well, but last month they played in Delta Bracket, they actually won it. I shouldn't be making the comparison of like, oh, this is going to be the next SIA team or something like that. But Wave Break seems to be that next team that is going to have a chartable growth throughout the scene, to where they could possibly win Loink by the end of the year if they stay on the grind that they're going to be on. But there's some other teams in that category as well. Galaxy Squids, they won Loink, or they won Little Squid League 2 Little Squid Leagues ago. This time around, they're playing in they got Delta Bracket last month as well, but they picked up a new player from June that's going to be playing with them. June is playing in this tournament. Spoiler alert, we will talk about them a little bit and coming up. But Galaxy Squid's another one of those teams that is constantly improving every time they play in a tournament. Now, somebody help me out here. The team that won Little Squid League 6 days ago, Octopi, is now playing in this tournament as Octopi CCI. What the hell? What is that? The Octopi CCI. As if that team was not hard enough to search with the pi symbol in it as well. They added a bunch of random acronyms in there. Regardless, though, I think Octopi might end up being the better of the Wave Break Galaxy Squids teams. I know the Galaxy Squids beat Octopi, but Octopi seems like they've hit another gear as of late. I think they're going to do really good in this tournament, actually. How good, I don't know. If they're making like alpha bracket, then I'm going to go on Twitter and say the Little Squid League skill cap is too high and they need to lower it. I can talk about a tournament I have absolutely no involvement in and make decisions on Twitter for that. But I seriously think Octopi CCI is going to do really good in this tournament. Jelly Squids are not a Little Squid League team, but they're another team that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I really don't know what to make of the Jelly Squids. I think they're going to Low Tide City, by the way. So if Jelly Squids do find a way to win this tournament, hey, I got a sticker for you guys. Come see me. But I really don't know what to think of the Jelly Squids. They've just been around for a long time. I know they've made Alpha Bracket recently. I think they made Beta last time. But I just don't know, like, Like, are they going to be eligible for low ink forever, or is this going to be like the 1 month where they just finally pop off and start ripping some people apart? They're in the same boat actually as Surf and Turf, like the same exact boat as Surf and Turf. Like, they're just slowly, very slowly climbing the ladder. They're at their own kind of pace. It's like the rabbit versus the tortoise versus the hare. They're definitely both tortoise teams, but they're still moving in the right direction as they go and seem to be having a good time, enjoying the slow ride of life along the way. I got a Sommerzeit team here because Sommerzeit is playing in this tournament. They made Delta last month. What's interesting about Sommerzeit, though, is that there's this other team called the Think Tank, which seems to be made up of 3 Sommerzeit players as well. So I'm curious, did Sommerzeit have a little bit of a breakdown there? Did they have a group of people that said, we don't like the direction that Sommerzeit is going, we're going to break off and form our own team? It became the Think Tank. I wonder what's going on with that, but those 2 teams are in this tournament. If they play against each other, hell yeah, we're putting that on stream. Joe Cephalopod, Joe Starfish. Is that a JoJo's reference? I am willing to bet, because I've talked about this a lot over the years on the podcast, that a team like JoJo that finished in second place in a Little Squid League and hasn't really come close to getting back to that podium since then, I bet you they're going to do a lot better in this low ink than they've ever done in Little Squid League. Because it's the same concept of, oh crap, this is a tournament I'm supposed to win, versus there's no pressure on JoJo in low ink. They can just play the tournament and have fun, and I think they're going to play a lot better. They might make top 32. I'll go on out on a limb and lock in JoJo as the team that's going to make top 32, simply because they're not playing in Little Squid League and there's not going to be pressure on them. How about C Drive? That's SEA Drive. Now, I like C Drive because their team tag is like the actual like C semicolon backslash to access the C Drive. I remember when I was a little kid playing like a computer game on our old, like before Windows 95 was even a thing. I think it was a Packer Bell was our computer. If you wanted to, like, if you put in a floppy disk, I think we played like Donald Duck's ABCs or something like that. You had to go to the DOS and then load up the C Drive and go through there. That's what I think of when I see C Drive. They're currently signed up. They won Delta Bracket 2 months, or Gamma Bracket 2 months ago. And it looked like they were going to win Gamma Bracket again until this next team that I'm going to talk about, Ikarioku, took a halt to that. Ikarioku, I believe, is set for a big tournament. These guys look like they've turned the corner in the weeklies that they've been playing in recently and have improved a lot. I think Ikarioku might be set for a huge low ink, how they come out through this one. I really screwed up writing down this team name, so I'm going to have to look at the official typing out. It's not an actual word, so I don't feel bad. But the name of this team, Schwinnowave, is the team I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Schwinnowave is the team made up of, I believe, one former player of Vaporwave, which makes a whole lot of sense. But this team, pickup, project, whatever, also has players from Black Komodo and Banana Basics on it as well. This has Alpha DNA written all over it, so don't be surprised if Schwinnowave does really well. Speaking of DOS having to be used to get into C Drive, how about the DOS, the Splatoon version of DOS, which is Day Old Sushi? If you're wondering, if you've never heard of Day Old Sushi, it seems like once every 6 months we have to remind the community of like what Day Old Sushi is, because somebody will be like, man, I wish there was a community, part of this community where it just have adults. Well, you might not even be old enough to be in Day Old Sushi. You got to be at least 25 to be in Day Old Sushi, which is a casual server that also has a competitive team. No Sigurd this time around. Sigurd's banned from low ink. A little bit too good with that roller there. But led by Kevin and D.GG, the very fantastic Splatling player. trying to lead this veteran old Dale Sushi squad. But speaking of veteran and old, I don't know if anybody is more veteran or more old than Los Inklings. They have tied Dale Sushi for the record for most Ludi seasons ever played, and I believe this is just their second time ever playing in Lowick. I think the last time we played in Lowick, which was last month, was the first time Dale Sushi or Los Inklings ever played. They got 5th place in Gamma Bracket, and here they are again next month. Good to see Los Inklings play, which is another team I believe is going to be at Low Tide City. That leaves 2 teams left. The 2 teams I find the most interesting that are not in my honorable mentions or top 10. The Cosmic Cherries. And yes, they are signed up as the Cosmic Cherries. They are not the Splat-A-Lot Cosmic Cherries anymore. I'm not going to speculate into that. I don't really care enough to see if they've left the Splat-A-Lot group or not. But this Cosmic Cherry team, whoever they want to represent, were really good. They were really good. I believe they won Delta bracket last month or Epsilon. They won one of those brackets after doing really well in beta the month prior. So they just had a bad Saturday, but took care of business on Sunday when it counted. If they could put the pieces together, have a great Saturday to where they make top 32, these guys are probably alpha bracket material. And give them a month or 2, they might be able to make the podium as well. But the last team I got my eye on that's not in my top 10, I have to give a shout out to the Night Sharks, who when they were playing consistently Low Inc. was a top 10 team and still might go down as one of the better college teams to ever play in Low Inc. The problem with the Night Sharks is they are going to drop. It is going to happen. It is like clockwork. I'm going to wake up Saturday, look at help desk, and there's a statement from the Night Sharks saying, "Hey, we got to drop." They've done it like 3 months in a row now. Now what? Being a college team and having 4 players available for 2 days in a weekend is really, really tough to do. Understandably so. But I just want to see the Night Sharks play. Damn it, because they were a good team when they were actually playing. Some highlighted messages. We'll get to the top 10, then we'll go raid somebody. Also, if we do not get banned before next month, we're bringing Swedish BTS back. Okay. Finished in 3rd place last month. All Splat-A-Lot teams rebranded or at least removed the Splat-A-Lot part or left like speed velocity. Ah, fair enough. Thanks, Sam. Thank you. Abusing the highlighted message. Again. All right, let's get to the top 10 and then call it a day. And then maybe I got time to mow the yard before they need me to do whatever they need me to do. TV. Honorable mention. First off, a team that shouldn't be in the honorable mention and should be in the top 10, but signed up after I caught them signing up after I already wrote this out. Team Biscuits. Team Biscuits really good. They are a contender to win Low Inc. anytime they sign up. They just signed up too late for me to put them in the top 10 this time around. Sorry. But I'm at least mentioning them, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, they're going to win it, and then they're going to be like, Pop Good, you put us in honorable mention. You never believed in us. Yeah, like, okay. Gotcha. Iruka, IRUKA, is in my honorable mention as well. Just don't know much about them. Want to see them do alpha bracket yet again before I kind of feel like they're a name brand top 10 team here. Black Komodo, I feel like is always kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of making alpha brackets, of being a top 10 contending team. And I found a couple of their players kind of scattered across other teams here for this tournament, so I don't really know who they're bringing in specifically for their run this time around. Thank you for the raid. Devil, your honorable mention team. Arcadia, I don't know much about Arcadia as well. That's why I got them in the honorable mention. I know they did make alpha bracket in the past, And somebody on Twitter said that they're going to sweep this tournament. So put them in honorable mentions just to be safe. Little Pop doesn't believe in us. If I'm being honest, I don't believe in any of you. You guys are all fictional. I'm still sleeping. I'm still in a nap. The last team in my honorable mentions section, the unofficial 11th team of this tournament. Let's go with Combo, because I looked at what Combo did on Saturday of last Low Inc, and I was like, these guys are way too good for Low Inc. These guys are champions. And then I looked what they did on Sunday, and I was like, oh, okay. Let's calm back down. Let's come back down to earth here a little bit. So I don't really know how good or bad Combo is. They seem like the low-level version of Ascension, God rest their soul, where it's like their peak is better than everybody, but they have to find a way to tap into that peak. But Combo is the most wildest wild card team that we got in this tournament. I did think they dropped because I didn't see them in alpha bracket, and I was disrespecting them. And then I saw them playing, and I saw them when I was doing the beta bracket breakdown live on the Popcast, and I was like, whoa, wait, there they are. They got curb stomped on Sunday. Unfortunate for them. Combo's still really good. No. Let's look at our top 10. Number 10. Aquatic Vanguard is back, and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey now, Aquatic Vanguard's back. That didn't really work out as I had it playing on my head. Okay, so Aquatic Vanguard is back, sorta-ish. This is the revamped version of Aquatic Vanguard. They had some roster changeover. OBT is now on Secret Elixir. Pac has now been claimed by the Low Inc staff of IPL. Cactus is, well, we're going to be talking about Cactus in a second, so hang on. So their roster is a little bit different here. They've added Matt from Waterfront and Juice Knox from, I want to say, Illumini is where Juice Knox came from. One other player as well to kind of revamp their roster. They still have Twig and Ike, though. No, not the Twig from Ascension. No, not the Twig from Secret Elixir. Twig is from Aquatic Vanguard and Ike as well. And those two players, I believe, play every single weapon in the phone book. So they should be able to be set. They can just pick up whatever players they want to play whatever weapons they want so that those two players can flex to whatever they need to do. How good is this Aquatic Vanguard version going to be? Who actually knows? Because if there's anything Aquatic Vanguard as a whole is known for over the years, regardless of who you're playing for, it's a total roll of the dice as far as how well they actually do. Still, they deserve a top 10 spot in this. Welcome back, Aquatic Vanguard. I believe you guys said up the ante. That is the correct answer. I don't know why I thought... I don't know why Illumini was the first one that came to my mind. Number 9. I'm keeping KO Calamari in this top 10. Yes, I know they fell to beta last month. Don't care. I still see them as a contender. They grind tournaments outside of Low Inc. They've made Alpha Bracket before, and they recently added Cactus from Aquatic Vanguard to help bolster their roster. Was last month a great month for them? No, of course not. But they've shown enough flashes in the past to where I feel like they're more than capable of being a top 10 team at their peak. Number 8. The Outcast Ninjas had a really impressive performance 2 months ago when they got top 8 in Alpha Bracket last month and lost to the Imbeciles in round 1. They got top 8 2 months ago, and then they lost to the Imbeciles in round 1 of last month. I cannot believe, and this is the most impressive thing about the Outcast Ninjas, they're actually playing in Low Inc 3 months in a row when they haven't played in back-to-back Low Inc since seemingly for years. So on top of that, they're actually getting consistent results when they're playing in Low Inc. The only problem is they keep facing monsters early in Alpha Bracket, but that's just the nature of what Alpha is. There aren't there ain't no easy path to the finals once you make Alpha Bracket. But being consistent is huge in this tourney. And it would be pretty cool to see one of the oldest low-ink teams remaining from the pre-pandemic era to finally find a way to win this tournament. They're on pace to do that eventually. Number 7. We didn't see June play last month. Makes sense, it was March. But let's just do a quick, brief reminder of why these guys are a contender every time they sign up. Because when they played in February, they got 4th place. So there you go. That's all you really need to know. They're a really strong team. By the way, if you wanted to lower the skill cap from Div 5 to Div 6, June likely clears this tournament because they are technically still Div 6 if you still believe in that kind of thing. And that's really all I have to say about them. I don't think taking a month off is bad. I don't think that's going to hinder them in any way. They're always a strong, consistent team when they actually play in low ink. They should pick up right where they left off. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, June. Number 6. I hope we get an opportunity to see more of Sunrise this weekend. I don't think we've ever really had them on stream and have only briefly mentioned them before. But when you look at what they accomplished last month, you realize that they are going to be a contender going forward. They went 6-0 in their Swiss group, 3-0 in their top 32 group, and only lost to Swedish BTS in round 2 of Alpha Bracket. Also, they made Beta Bracket back in January. Sunrise is on the rise, and they're the real deal, and this would be a great month for them to become a household low-ink team name and a team that's going to be on everyone's radar going forward. Number 5. Good news for Ink in the System. Last month, I said March would be a prove-it tournament for them to show us who they really are. And they proved it all right, making top 8 and only losing the Secret Elixir. Now they just have to put it all together. A simple 5-1 Saturday and just play the best they possibly can on Sunday. And they'll finally win this tournament. And we can hype them up about how they went from 0-6 in their first lowing and how they were able to find a way to win it just a few years later, defying all odds and becoming one of the many poster children who have had success in low ink. They just have to defeat all these other teams that I have above them. No biggie. Number 4. There isn't really much I can add about Photic Zone that I haven't already said over the past several months. They've been a top 10 team. They're just here again, and they're still contenders to win it all. I think the pressure of being a contender is bothering them, though, but welcome to being a traditional Alpha Bracket team. It comes with the territory. You can't just beat up on teams in Swiss every single Saturday and not have people gunning for you each month. That's the nature of the beast. And it's not me that's putting pressure on them. Anytime you guys pop off consistently, you're putting that target on your own back. It's a rite of passage. Despite that, though, if they've been playing underneath pressure of expectations to win the tournament, it really hasn't shown in their gameplay. They've been playing great the past few months. They got 4th place last month. The only teams that are beating Photic Zone are teams that either win the tournament or finish in 2nd place. So the road to the championship goes through Photic Zone. And maybe one of these months they'll claim that road for themselves. Why not this month, Photic Zone? Number 3. It's the final reckoning. Now, I had them at number 1 last month, and they did do pretty well, beating the Eminence Phantoms in round 1 of Alpha Bracket in a game 5 on stream. By the way, the Eminence Phantoms look pretty good. I probably should have put them in probably should put them in the honorable mention as well. Sorry, I was half asleep this morning. I'm sorry. And took a game off the imbeciles for being blown out of the top 8. Did they win? No. Is this still a step in the right direction for this team? Yes. But just because I don't have them as high on my list as I did last month doesn't mean they've gotten worse. They're still a serious contender to win every single month that they sign up. So just consider this the final reckoning. Number 2. No, this isn't me trying to overcorrect from last month where I didn't put the Minnow Cup champions above number 10, and then the final 2 teams from that Minnow Cup went on to have a rematch in the Low Inc Grand Finals. No, I just think Orca Balestra is just that good. I think they're just that good. Yes, they won the most recent Minnow Cup, and yes, they haven't done much in Alpha Bracket last month when they made it. Most recently getting lit up like dynamite by Swedish BTS in round 1. But the reason I think they're going to take a big jump this time around, they're grinding weeklies and getting results. These guys are the real deal, and they're peaking at the right time. Orca Balestra will finish on the podium this month if they don't find a way to win it outright. However, the team I'm predicting to win this whole tournament this weekend, well, the secret is out about Secret Elixir. Turns out these guys are really good. Second place in their first Low Inc after getting first place in the Minnow Cup prior to that. I believe getting third place in the most recent Minnow Cup. Seems like a simple team to put at number 1 and a really safe team to put at number 1. I really shouldn't be putting them at number 1, though, because history would tell you the odds of them even getting back to grand finals are extremely low, considering that it never really happens, much less getting back and actually winning it. Not because they've really gotten worse, though, because I don't think they've gotten worse. I feel like they're getting even better. The problem is I'm really concerned that teams are going to start figuring them out. I don't know if they're still going to be riding that Kraken super chump combo, but I don't really care. You could give these players any weapon you want. They're still going to be really good at it. If I can watch a player absolutely light up alpha bracket teams with orange frickin' Inzap and possibly the worst, no, not possibly, definitely the worst special in the game is Super Chump, that is quite the flex that Secret Elixir has. They got some really strong players. So yes, is it a boring pick to have the second place team from last month as your number 1 team this month? Yes. But when I really look down at this, can I really put Orca Balestra above them in a tournament like this? I don't think I can. Secret Elixir wins this tournament. And that does it for today's preview of the Popcasts. Low Inc 23, whatever. Whoever. Ugh. I got 5 Discord DMs. That's never good. Now, if you're upset, if I didn't mention your team, or I mentioned them in honorable mentions, or didn't talk about them at all, and you feel like I disrespected you, don't worry. I always start off my Monday episodes of the Popcast with an apology for everything I got wrong. This isn't you can prove me wrong at the end of the Ludi season that you got the div that you didn't want or you didn't deserve. No, you can prove me wrong in literally 2 days. It's simple, and I will give you the credit you deserve. If you'd like to be a part of the podcast in any way, feel free to reach out. My socials below: Twitter, Mr._Popgun, Discord, Popgun, #5882, YouTube at 25Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25, Anchor.fm/Popgun, TikTok at Mr._Popgun. Let's go raid the Squid School. I will be commentating on Ink TV tonight. So I'll see you guys a little bit later tonight. Enjoy the stream. Get vaccinated. Don't die.